Hey there, Cancer. Welcome to your reading for whatever today is. Or, no, this is for October. Just kidding. 2025. You have this whale spirit says, trust in the great mystery. You have this mouse spirit says, tend to the small things. And, again, we have one thing I will say that I want to say to you, Cancer, is that we do have a Mercury retrograde in November. And, so even though we're not there yet, I always tell people that whenever something like this comes up, tend to the small things, that it basically could be the retrograde energy, or it could be that we should start paying attention right now. So I would definitely, pay attention to the small details of like what's going on around you, especially if you're working on something important. It's actually kind of a funny time right now because it's like I don't think we should get too caught up in the small details on like big things. But what I would say is if you're doing anything important, that's where I would pay attention to the small details. Like if you're, filling out some paperwork or, doing your taxes or like something like that. Mercury retrograde usually doesn't cause a disaster. It usually just causes an annoyance, right? Where it's like something you have to fix later or whatever. And yeah, like I said, yes, I understand that we do not have Mercury retrograde this month, but we do next month in November. So, it's something I would just pay attention to. Actually, a pretty good reading. The first row here in your current general energies, you have the Ten of Swords, Nine of Swords, and the Lovers. Some of you are overthinking love for sure. It's like if you want love, I feel like you're overthinking it. This could also be you overthinking something you will love. Like, we see some pretty good money stuff here in this reading for you here, Cancer. And so it's like if you're thinking about changing jobs or, asking for a raise or doing something like starting a business, you could be like a little bit overthinking energy here. The Ten of Swords kind of says like it's time for you to move forward. I personally, I think all tens are good. Maybe I'm sure plenty of readers that disagree, but he's dead. It doesn't get much worse than that, right? He has to get up off the ground. He's also making a symbol right here that represents a blessing. It's like if he would just, go through the change, he would receive a blessing. And you have the Star. You have the Ace of Pentacles here without even clarifying. So, it's like clearly there are blessings available to you, but, it's like maybe you have to release something from the past here with the Ten of Swords or let something go. This could also be these responsibilities. We have the Ten of Wands here. Again, I like the Ten of Wands because he's very close to accomplishing his goal, but sometimes I do feel that the Ten of Wands can say you are carrying burdens that do not belong to you. It's like sometimes we take on responsibilities that we shouldn't or whatever, and so that's something I would be careful of. Next, you have the Nine of Swords. Yeah, too much overthinking. I feel like this is too much rumination energy. I feel like you're thinking too much about changes. It's funny that we have the King and Queen of Pentacles in the next row. Like I'm not saying this is accurate tarot, what I'm about to say, but this is what I feel off of the King and Queen of Pentacles here. It's like if you're thinking, oh, like if I had love, it would create these too many changes in my life, or it would, it's almost like you have to break out of a comfort zone with that King of Pentacles and the Queen of Pentacles, to have it. And I feel like the Nine of Swords is too much of that, like, what if energy, and I feel like I've said that to you before, Cancer. I could be wrong, but, I would say, especially if you're interested in Earth sign, obviously, you have King, Queen, Knight, and the Ace of Pentacles here, so definitely could be a connection. I also feel like you're smarter now, He has these blue squares on his blanket, and those blue squares have these astrological symbols inside them. And that is a comfort blanket. It's meant to give him comfort because it basically is telling him like, hey, you know what to do. You have experienced all this astrology, all these astrological symbols. And so it's like you have enough knowledge to draw on that you would be fine. Again, you have the Lovers, so, and you have the King of Pentacles right next to it. They are divine counterparts, but they're a little bit slow, especially with that Knight of Pentacles. So if you're looking for love, definitely could be a solid connection with the Lovers. I also feel that, just based off of everything that's showing up here, the Lovers can sometimes come up when we are at a crossroads. We have a choice to make. And, the funny thing about your last card here, the Ace of Pentacles, is that there is a road that you have to, like, go down, right? And there's some mountains in the background. So I like the Ace of Pentacles, and, I'm not trying to skip too far ahead here, but Sometimes I think the Ace of Pentacles can be a good opportunity, but we also see the mountain that we have to climb, right? So it's like, obviously, if you're getting into a relationship, you have to learn a whole new person and, all that other, you have to go through the beginning phases and everything like that. Same thing with a business. It's like, obviously, you'd have to start it and get it going and build it up. It's like a whole thing. With the Ten of Swords, you have the King of Swords. Something is history. Sometimes I just look at the King of Swords as history, just like whatever you've been through, whatever you've lived through. He is a card of knowledge and wisdom. We all have a collection of experiences, and we have this knowledge and wisdom. But, the funny thing is in some ways we can choose what experiences we have. I don't know. This is what's popping into my head. I'm just spitballing with you here, Cancer. I feel like it's like maybe you have chosen certain experiences or not. And I feel that the reading itself, this card is trying to get you to be more hopeful or something. You have the Star card, which is hope, faith, renewal. But I feel like it's about like choosing to have different experiences, choosing to be that type of person. And I don't know. That's what's popping into my head here with that card. With the Nine of Swords, you have the World. There you go. The World is an accomplishment. The World is also completion. It would be bringing an end to this situation, which is good. So if you have been overthinking too much lately, then this could be you ending that and kind of like starting over. You don't really have to start over with the World. You can just start the next stage of your journey. In the major arcana, we go from the Fool to the World, and then we start all over again as a Fool, right? We're always doing this in life. Sometimes we do it on a small scale. Sometimes we do it on a big scale. Doesn't really matter. I feel like you are making changes, and that will obviously be a good thing. It's kind of funny. Like, before, you have the Ten of Pentacles here, but before we move on, it's like I do feel a little bit boxed in with that World. It just popped into my head at the end there. Some of you might be thinking about, like, freedom, setting yourself free. You might be thinking that you want more space. It's kind of like popping into my head. So, like, if you, let's say you've wanted to travel, but you can't, or you haven't been able to. It's like some of you are, I feel, kind of catching this, like, travel bug thing. And it might not even involve travel. It's like maybe you have a job with a very specific job description. It's like you might be looking for something where you have a little bit more creative freedom, or, where you can express yourself more, whatever the case may be. And that's also popping into my head. It's like you want to be more free. With the Lovers, you have the Ten of Pentacles. It's like, what are you afraid of? I mean, Ten of Pentacles is everything you want and desire in life. And so I consider it to be the best love card in the deck, even though it's a Pentacle card. It can say that you're attracting a connection that would provide that for you, or would provide you with building, leaving a legacy, or a person. I also feel, like I said, I feel very good about money in this reading. So whatever you're doing to make those financial changes would be a good idea. It's kind of funny that, like, I think I said this to you like 6 months ago or something, but like I feel like you are becoming more general. But most people would tell you that's a bad thing, right? Like, if you listen to any freaking business expert out there, they're all like, oh, you have to niche down, you have to be hyper specific. There's definitely some truth to that. It's like, obviously a doctor makes a lot of money, but a brain surgeon or like a plastic surgeon makes 1,000 times more money, right? Maybe not 1,000, but you catch my drift. So there is some truth to specializing, but for sure. But what I would say is, like, whatever you're doing, you might be just going like one step up from whatever you're doing. It would be like, imagine, it's like, imagine if I started talking about personal development on this channel. It's like, it's something I'm interested in. It would be like, I would still be doing the tarot, right? But it would be like one step up above that. And, that's kind of what I feel for you. I hope that makes sense. That's where the money is, Cancer. Next, in the area of what's coming in for you, you have this Conflict card. It says repressed emotions, unresolved issues. You have this Body. It says self-care, sexuality, and vulnerability. It's like, maybe that's what the problem is, or maybe that's something that needs to be healed or whatever, is like repression, or, kind of being, it's like, obviously if you get into a connection, you have to be willing to be vulnerable. And, that can be scary for sure. So, some of you could be, like, working on that. I feel like the Conflict card is inside yourself. It's like you're conflicted or unsure. And, yeah, that's kind of what I feel. You have the Ten of Wands, the King of Pentacles, and the Queen of Pentacles. Again, Ten of Wands says you're very close to accomplishing something or achieving your goal. He's almost reached his home in the background here. I really do feel that there are some things that you're, like, carrying that are not yours to carry, so, like, I would take a cold hard look at your responsibilities, the things that you're doing in life this month, And I would make sure that you're doing things that you really need to be doing and not things that you feel like you should be doing necessarily, right? It's like sometimes we might feel like we should do something. Maybe we should, maybe we shouldn't. I'm not saying, like, I'm not making a judgment call for you, but it's like, is it actually helping, or do you really need to do it? Those types of things. And, that's what I would pay attention to here with the Ten of Wands. You have the King and Queen of Pentacles. Obviously, they're divine counterparts. King of Pentacles is usually someone serious who wants something long-term. I feel like you've been dealing with this all year, basically, King and Queen of Pentacles, I'm pretty sure, because I'm always saying to you, that the problem with the King and Queen of Pentacles is the seduction, desire, fire that a relationship needs. Like, sometimes they're a little bit too domestic, these two. They're missing that fiery, spicy side, right? So it's like maybe that's what's missing. Like, especially if you're with a person. And like, I absolutely think, like, I'm not suggesting you leave a person if you're with a good person. Like, if you are having those issues, it could clearly be fixed. And, maybe it just needs communication or whatever. We'll see what happens when we clarify. If you're meeting a person, it's like there might be too much like vulnerability things going on between both people. And, it might be something that needs to be discussed here, right? Also very good for money, by the way. So again, I really feel a lot of you are doing things, if you're going that one level up, that could be where the success is for you. I'm pretty sure I said this in your last reading as well, Cancer, but saying the things that you're afraid to say, and like the fear of being wrong is maybe what needs to be overcome with the King of Pentacles. You have the Queen of Pentacles. Queen of Pentacles is, again, good for money, card of resourcefulness. I think it would be a great time for you to look at your resources and think about how you can get more out of them. Queen of Pentacles is definitely one of the cards of efficiency. She really pays attention to the work she does, and she really pays attention to what makes her more. And so if you double down on the good stuff, then you will get more with the Queen of Pentacles. I also think that she is focusing on this pentacle. She's not really focusing on this rabbit right here. The rabbits can be fertility and abundance, but they can also represent like fears and anxiety. And, in the Fearless Tarot, for example, one of my favorite tarot books, the author, Elliot, says, he's on YouTube, by the way, says that the Queen of Pentacles, she's choosing to focus on what she has. She's not focusing on the fears, right? And Ten of Swords, Nine of Swords, getting out of your head would be a very good exercise for you this month. With the Ten of Wands, you have the Two Wands. Yeah, it's like a star, basically. The star, she is dipping her toes in the water. And she, I like the star, but sometimes I feel like she needs to go all in. It's like, I think it would be a good month for you to be very decisive, right? To say, I'm going to make this decision. This is what I'm doing. And make that full commitment. He is standing at the top of his castle. This wand stands on its own, but he needs to make the choice, the decision, to get out into the world and to go find a new kingdom or to build a new castle in his life. It's almost like you have that opportunity, Cancer, but, I feel that it's like taking that leap of faith, almost like the Fool, is what needs to happen here. And so don't be afraid of, putting yourself out there. With the King of Pentacles, you have the Ten of Swords again. So Ten of Swords could say that something is dead, done, over with. One thing I will say as well with this is if this is kind of like saying that, don't settle on something, I would be careful. I am getting one warning here, which is if you are in a situationship that, you should be careful. Like, let's say someone is just stringing you along, if you are in that situation, I would be careful. For sure. It's like this reading is a decisive reading. It's saying not only do you need to be decisive, but I think you also need to be in situations that are decisive. Let's say you have a boss this doesn't even have to be love, right? This could be, let's say you have a boss that can't make up their mind on like where the company is going. That might be a clue that there's like, something else that you should look at. With the Queen of Pentacles, you have the Justice card. Yeah, it's balancing out your own life is what you need to focus on. Justice is about cause and effect. Again, there is very matter-of-fact energy, very decisive energy in this reading. It's like justice weighs up, it looks at things from a neutral perspective. Justice doesn't say like, oh, I'm alone, I need to be with this person. Oh, at least I have a job, I don't really need to look for another one right now. Justice looks at the situation and says, from a neutral perspective, this isn't working. I need to go find something else, right? And so I feel that operating from justice, operating from a neutral position would be very helpful for you, and would help you make some choices. Next, in the area of messages, you cannot make this up. In the area of your messages from your future self, you have this choice card. You also have the sun card. It says joy and healing. And I would focus on the energy of doing things that make you feel joyful and like you're healing and all that. And it's an excellent time to heal, especially with the star card in this row. The star is all about hope, faith, and renewal. It would be a good month for you to renew your energy, to do things that fulfill you and give you more energy for sure. The star is about making the decision, though, to get into that pool. That is the pool of universal consciousness. There are ripples going out on that pool of water because she's pouring that water into the pool. And, it's like it kind of represents that sometimes we tell the universe what we want, and the universe is just waiting for us to get into the water. The universe is like, yeah, you said this. You said you wanted love, you wanted money, you wanted health. But it's like, what are you going to do about it, And that is what we need to do with a star, is we need to cannonball into the deep end. We need to go all the way. And that is definitely the energy I get off this card. If you're doubting yourself, she's pouring this water here onto the earth from the pool of universal consciousness. That water is flowing out to everyone. The water there says what's possible for one person is possible for everyone. And I feel like you need to believe that, or, work on that. And, it's like kind of like a weird thing that I think about all the time. This is what keeps me up at night. It's like, why are there people that have things that you don't have, right? And it's like they just chose to enter into different experiences. They're really no different than you. And it's like there's something in that for you, Cancer. It's like I feel like you need to realize it's like we all, pretty much have 2 arms, 2 legs, everything else, all the other bits I can't mention on YouTube. But, we're all pretty much the same for the most part. It's like you probably really could do things that you think are hard or impossible. And I want to encourage you to do those things, whatever you're thinking about right now. I don't even know because, obviously I'm not you, but, it's something I would think about. You have the Knight of Pentacles. What would happen if you just tried, Cancer? That's the question that's popping into my head. He's sitting here looking at that pentacle. You have the Ace of Pentacles here. It's like he has an opportunity to plant seeds in this field behind him. But what would happen if you just tried a little bit? Just kind of tried to see what would happen. I don't know, right? Only you can figure that one out. So I would encourage you to, plant those seeds in a direction that you want to go in. This can also be slow movement. Again, you might be dealing with a slow person in love if you are looking for love. I'm not sure what needs to happen here. I'm not like encouraging anyone to, take any crazy risks here or like tell a person you're in love with them or anything, but, something needs to happen. You have the Three of Pentacles. Three of Pentacles is teamwork makes the dream work, but again, I think Cancers do need to kind of lift themselves up a little bit. He's the one that's getting the credit for the work. Maybe this is hard for you, right? I do think this can be hard for some people. It's like I see this on YouTube a lot. Obviously I work with a lot of YouTubers and, in my secret YouTube group, and it's like I can just notice sometimes when people are holding themselves back, when they're, when they're kind of sitting on a fence, or, they're not sharing an opinion that they should share because they're afraid of pissing people off or whatever. And, I'm not saying you have a YouTube channel. That's just the only example I can give you at this time. And I feel like this is saying like, no, you need to claim what you say, or you need to really put your work out there and put it on display. He has done work. This is a fire triangle right here. This water triangle below it kind of says he added something a little bit extra special to what he is doing. He brought a little bit extra of himself to the project. And so whatever you're creating, even if it's yourself, right? Like even if you're working on yourself, I feel this is saying like, don't be afraid of being unique. Don't be afraid of, being different or standing out. With the star, you have the Judgment card. You really could be, discovering a purpose. Like I said, it's like you're discovering that next level up. You're becoming more general, like I said earlier. It's not like too general, but, I think you're at that, you're, just going one level up from where you are right now in life. I don't know. I wish that would make sense to me right now, but whatever. And, it's going to require some changes. These people have to leave this coffin. The coffin is their old life. Outside the coffin is their new life. but they have to make that commitment. The whole entire reading is basically saying you need to make the full commitment to that next level. If you're just dabbling with something, you might not get the results you desire. With the Knight of Pentacles, you have the Six of Cups. Yeah, if you're looking for love, Six of Cups can be soulmates. It doesn't have to be someone from the past. And so there could be a very playful, fun connection coming in for you. Could also say that maybe you're taking something too seriously. And this doesn't have to just be love. If you're wherever you are not making that star commitment, getting into the pool, it could be because maybe you need to take a more playful approach or approach something more like children. It would be good if the Death card showed up in this reading. The Death card, there's a child that's holding up flowers to the Death Rider. And I think that type of energy would say that you are a little bit more willing to experience something new, And it's almost like that's the energy I get off the Six of Cups more intuitively. With the Three of Pentacles, sure, we'll take both. You have the Ace of Swords and the Nine of Cups. Ace of Swords is a victory. Nine of Cups can be like a wish or wish fulfillment or just fulfillment in general. But Ace of Swords is laser-like focus. It is, picking one thing and saying, I'm making this happen, that's it. And I feel that decisive energy. Ace of Swords is decisiveness as well. So, basically everything that we already talked about. Next, in the area of the good stuff, what do you know? You have this abundance card and this law of attraction card. So definitely attracting abundance. All these pentacle cards showing up here. And that should probably be your focus, is coming at things from a place of abundance or, choosing to do things because they make you feel abundant. That's definitely what I would be doing here. There are three people on that law of attraction card. You have the Three of Pentacles in this reading. And I feel there could be, as long as you're surrounding yourself with people who lift you up and support your vision, that could also be where your abundance is coming from. You have the Ace of Pentacles, Five of Wands, and the Four of Swords. Ace of Pentacles can be like a big opportunity that you're looking at, which I think you are, with the Knight of Pentacles. The Knight of Pentacles, he is kind of like looking at a pentacle opportunity there. And so whatever this thing is that you're thinking about doing, the Ace of Pentacles says make the full commitment. It will grow. It will provide abundance. You have the Five of Wands. You always get the Five of Wands with me, I'm pretty sure. And the Five of Wands is about standing out above the competition. And I feel that, sure, maybe there's things you're doing that where there is competition, but I also feel you have the opportunity to really rise above it and stand out above it. So I would with this card. You have the Four of Swords. We do see a good amount of healing here. So I think anything extra you can do to heal yourself, there are 1.5 billion healing exercises on YouTube for free. I would pick one and heal something, because the Four of Swords represents blessings. There's a person blessing another person in this window. And so there could be blessings coming in if you heal or if you allow yourself to heal. With the Ace of Pentacles, you have the Hangman. Yeah, seeing things from new perspectives. Uranus and Gemini. This is Pisces, but it doesn't matter. This is very much similar to the Uranus and Gemini energy that we have until, pretty much the middle of November. It's going to retrograde into Taurus. It is retrograde right now, but it's still in Gemini. And we need to look at all possibilities of anything that we're doing. And, he has put himself on pause, and he's gained enlightenment. I almost feel you are coming off a pause. Maybe you have been paused for a long time, or you haven't been making progress, and, now you are. With the Five of Wands, you have the Page of Wands. Again, that happy-go-lucky energy with that Six of Cups. Page of Wands is a card of, non-attachment. He starts something, he doesn't really worry about the outcome. And I feel that could be tripping you up right here. Thinking about outcomes, thinking about all the possibilities. I'm not saying we shouldn't prepare for things, but, we can't prepare for everything. You never know. It's like an asteroid could hit Earth tomorrow that the scientists didn't see. It's like, what is there to worry about? Is what I feel like saying. With the Four of Swords, you have the Knight of Wands. Yes, be more spontaneous, being willing to be more spontaneous, taking life less seriously. I'm not saying that life isn't serious, but, I do think this reading is asking you to just be have fun, enjoy it while it lasts, and see what happens. You have this feather. It says, someone you know is undependable and insincere. A person. Here. It's again, I feel like some of you, it's like you need to be careful of people who are not serious as well. Not just in love, but pretty much every area of life. You have this dragon that says, beware of self-delusion. Neptune's retrograding into Pisces next month, or this month, October. Sorry, we're still in September, so that's why I said that. But, Neptune and Pisces, we can get a little bit too excited about a fantasy. It's not really a bad thing, as long as the fantasy becomes a reality, or as long as we are taking actual 3D here on Earth steps to get to that fantasy, right? And as long as you do that, you'll be fine. Can't make this up. You have this mountain card. We were talking about the mountains. I think you're making a bigger deal out of something than it needs to be, though. It's like you might be seeing something as a mountain, but it's like a hill. It's like, yeah, sure, maybe your thighs are going to be burning by the time you get to the top of it, but it's like, is that really the end of the world if you end up with some sort of accomplishment or achievement in your life? No. It's like, I don't care if my thighs burn. Hopefully you don't either. Maybe some of you are into that, but whatever. You have this tree card. It says affairs with your family. Yeah, this is going to continue until the end of the year. Family stuff. So I don't know. But it feels good. I think people are enjoying family. Or if you need support, Three of Pentacles could be coming from family. You have this jug. It says lighthearted, carefree time. Are you kidding? That's the entire thing that I just said to you at the end. Is that I would just focus on having fun this month, Cancer, and not taking things so seriously, right? That's like the energy this wants. Pretty good reading, though. I do like where this is going. So thank you for being here. I forgot to say it again. Make sure to like and leave a comment on this video. It really helps me out. But thank you, and definitely enjoy your month.